Welcome to another Gamer Partner Artist Feature interview. Today we speak with Whitters. Whitters speaks on all things creating in the physical and the digital worlds, her love for that juxtaposition, being able to break things, control things, have things that are permanent as well as ephemeral, and a lot more. I think you're going to enjoy this conversation.
Okay, very excited to have a friend of mine from the space, somebody I really respect, an amazing artist, both in the physical realm, we'll talk about her mural painting, and digitally, and just a legend all round, a Gamer Partner artist, Whitters. Welcome. It's so good to have you. I don't want to tell your story for you. I want you to do it. So say hello, introduce yourself, and you can go back as far as you like, maybe back to when you were like little Whitters and you first picked up a paintbrush up until now. So go for it. Welcome, by the way.
Thank you so much. I call you Brett. I know a lot of people call you a multitude of different things.
People can call me whatever they want. You go with whatever you feel comfortable with.
I love it. Okay, so I'm Whitters. I am currently a street artist. I'm a Gamma partner artist. I'm a troll online. I enjoy a multitude of things. So, yeah.
No, it's a good summary of who you are. I'd love to know, for those who don't know you and you say you're a street artist, I think that maybe isn't doing like the quality of the work and what you've done, what you've put out justice. Tell us a little bit about what you've done and where you started. How did you get into being a muralist? Do you remember picking up a paintbrush and falling in love with becoming an artist? Like, where did Whitters the artist begin?
Really funny. You didn't prompt this, but I did want like some kind of visual for this interview. And so this is the first painting that I ever did. I took lessons in like first grade or something. So
amazing.
This is my very come over here.
Wow, that's like your first.
Yeah, this is like my very first.
I love you still got it.
Yeah, that was like the first thing that like I ever did. So I've been a painter for like a really long time. So yeah, so I've been painting for, my entire life, if we're being honest. So I started out, it was very hard to get me to sit still. So my grandmother actually put me into painting classes because, like, sports were like fun and all, but it wasn't checking all the boxes for me just as like little Witters. And so I started doing art classes, and I already had kind of just like like whenever you go out to dinner and you are given crayons, I would only draw and I wouldn't eat. And so they kind of knew in the beginning that there was something there, that's something that I wanted to do. And so I just continued to do that. And that's like from first grade until, gosh, still currently, but like, it really transitioned whenever I became like a commission artist. And so people would give me essentially like photos that they wanted to be paintings. And so I would do like pets. Pets were like probably my biggest commission. And then from pets, it went to just like people, a lot of dead people, unfortunately. For me, because I'm an awkward individual just in general. And so giving someone and like knowing that they have passed, it was like sentimental to them, but for me, it was, am I doing them justice? It was like a lot of pressure to be able to encapsulate who that person was, and also create something. And then from that point, it's like it really catapulted to I had like a 5-year, and I still currently have like 4 to 5 year waiting list. The prices go up because it's not something that I want to continue doing.
Mhm.
And so like I lost a lot of patrons due to my price point, but you got to do what you got to do. And so that turned into having my own gallery. And the same year, someone contacted me to do a mural. And the very first one that I did with like a 1-inch brush. It was huge. It was like 25 feet tall, 60 feet wide. It's still the county that I live in, it's still the most photographed, posed in front of mural in the county. And kind of worked my way up to using spray paint. And now I'm obsessed. Like canvas is boring to me now. It's like why paint indoors whenever I can do that outside? And once you introduce that to an artist that already has like a considerable amount of ADHD, you really can't go back. And so like, and that, really sums up, I guess, just like from point zero to now. And yeah, so like I just I just show up at the wall and I paint, I have fun. I love being outside. I think this is probably the best way to actual like be oh yeah, okay, so that's in Miami. That was the let's see. That one is very, very close to where I live. Yeah, like, there's I should have updated so you could see some of the other latest ones.
It's just showing off some of your incredible work, and this is on your website. So I'm going to ask a couple of questions about that. First, where it's ticking through murals that you've done. You said you started off on canvas and then took it outside. How did you sort of work out how to make it so vast and broad and have the skill set to still have that level of detail and quality? And like you said, have done it. You can see on a shop here, and you get commissioned to do it. I know you did a commission one recently.
That one's my first one. So the one with the
I'll go
hummingbird,
back. Yeah,
that one is my very, very first one.
look at that.
And
And it
that
adds so much color to an area. Like street art has always spoken to me. Continue telling us about it.
Yeah, no, it's like there's nothing that brings me more joy. So like with this one that like they wanted a mountain scene put in, so I put it in there. And so I don't know if this might be like borderline like so like psychopath, but like I'll go to murals that I've completed, not tell them that I'm the artist and like help them take pictures in front of it. And they have no idea. They're just like, "Oh my gosh, this chick just out here helping everybody take pictures." So, it
Do you sign them? Are they signed off? I know some artists do and some artists don't.
yeah, okay, so, like okay, we kinda have to go back to the skull.
Let's do it.
Okay, this is when I entered, like, what I was doing IRL with, like, my Web3 experience.
Mm-hmm.
So the very first to my knowledge, the very first, like, NFT kind of, uh, like, mural I don't know why it won't stay.
That's okay. Maybe I'll let it roll rather than.
Yeah. So this one was a, um, part of the Crypto Skulls, right?
Mhm.
So it's an ETH project, and they formed a DAO, or not a dowel, not with an L, but DAO.
Got it.
My country accent kind of hinders me sometimes.
I love it.
Anyway,
Continue.
so and my proposal to the DAO was that we create a Crypto Schools mural somewhere out, some like a high traffic area, and they agreed. Leonidas, I think a lot of people know, like with dog and everything. I think a lot of people know who Leonidas is. He was my like kind of like sponsor for that and helped me get that pushed through. And so I went to New York and painted that very close to like New Jersey, okay, I think it's Jersey City. I'm pretty sure it's like right out of the tunnel. And on Palisades, like if you're familiar with that area. And it was not only was it the first like NFT mural that I was aware of, but also, and this was like 2022, mind you, or maybe, yeah, okay, yeah, 2022, after the Gary V pump. So it was also like the first AR integrated mural. And shout out to Justin and Art House, absolutely phenomenal company and like amazing human. He like just kind of took me underneath his wing to really tell the story that I wanted to tell. Like you have a static image, right? But then you can expand on that by adding layers, which is why I love AR. Honestly, like it's just it really, like AI is huge, but like AR expands it so much further. Um, like I feel like AI is a tool just like AR is, but like with AI you can't really, like there's not another envelope that you can open. So they paid me in crypto skulls then, and from that point it was I mean I was everywhere. I've been Miami a bunch, New York a bunch, Austin. I did the Forbes Web3, and oh gosh, there was another sponsor that I'm doing in justice to, but went to Austin to do that. I've done a lot of my work that's on Bitcoin is from murals. Bitcoin Amsterdam was huge for me. I think I'd never left the mountains before with the Crypto Skulls mural, and then I'd never like really left the country. Like you go like vacation to like Bahamas or like Los Cabos, but like not gone over a major body of water. And so Amsterdam was like outside of the country. And a lot of these opportunities hasn't honestly been because I've found them. It's like other people finding or like they have a building or they know someone, and that barrier to entry, because like I call you up, right? And I'm like, hey, I'm Whitters. I'm from North Carolina. I would love to, paint. And you're not in the street art world. For people that sound like me, they're not really going to give you a fair go. In other words, unless like it's like word of mouth, I guess. So with crypto, and now that I'm just like a Bitcoin maxi, it's like so many different opportunities have presented themselves, and it's like a fun way to represent like what I want to do. Like I want to go everywhere, paint everywhere. But with Bitcoin, especially, it is on those streets, my work could be bombed over like the very next day. That wall could be torn down. Like there's so many different things that could happen to the art that I create physically. But when you inscribe that on Bitcoin, it's there forever, right? So it's just it makes sense for me. Sometimes inscribing due to just like how much it costs and all of that. It's like sometimes it just doesn't make sense for artists. But for me, like I just to preserve something like that is important for just me. And I think a lot of artists that are going into being or having work on Bitcoin, it is kind of like a journal, right? So they get to see not only their portfolio as they grow, but now, like, imagine you're with your like grandchildren or like, I mean, hopefully great grandchildren, and you're able to like the physical pieces are long gone, but you're able to like throw that up for them to be able to look at. And that is wild. That's just like something that I I honestly drew me to being a Bitcoin artist or just putting my work on Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's really interesting, particularly when it's such a juxtaposition to painting on walls, like you said, that can get painted over, can get pulled down, can get, hopefully not, but could end up being knocked down because of war. Who knows? To be able to preserve your work, but then for you to have started on a canvas, move to a wall, be putting work on Bitcoin, but still not just doing the one thing, still kind of like working across the different formats. This was your, I guess, genesis piece
Yes.
of art on Bitcoin. So tell us about how does it relate to what you've done in the past and conceptually what you were trying to create and your love for AR? Tell the story behind Unveiled, and then we'll talk about Order or Order.
So I became, for the impermanence of street art, I became hyper obsessed with sculptures. And from there, it's like there's so many different ways, not only to tell a story, to incorporate AR, but to find juxtapositions and things that you are doing currently with like something that I hadn't seen yet that was being preserved on chain. So, like, with Unveiled, not only was it, like, my first, to put art on Bitcoin, I wanted to check, like, a lot of boxes, like, sculptures that exist and have existed for a very long time in IRL, but my take on that, in kind of like an exploration to who I was, so the initial, like the actual sculpture that exists in real life, was by Giovanni Straza. I'm probably like saying that
I think
absolutely.
that was it. Straza or Straza, yeah.
Yeah. So I took that. It was a veiled virgin, so it's like popping my cherry inscription wise on with my own art onto the block or like onto Bitcoin. And from there, it's like, okay, I created this like memoriam to a very well known like sculpture, but let's blow it up and like let's shoot it into a million pieces. I painted that on plexiglass, the sculpture with graffiti in the background, and then I took it to the farm and shot it with like an AR, pistols, shotgun, a multitude of different things because and very similar to how I was explaining to you before, I was a commission artist. It was everything that I did before, and I'm trying to move away from that, like, to where things don't have to I don't need the anxiety or don't have to have the anxiety as an artist and create my own path of, like, replication, right? So, like, a lot of people don't believe that, like, hyper realistic art is actually art. Instead, that it's just, being able to replicate something. And so in my journey of being, on a different path to create art the way that I would like to and kind of forge my own path, that was, like, symbolic in absolutely destroying this realistic painting of a well-known sculpture that I can't actually destroy in real life. I feel like I would, catch a charge if I were to do that.
I think so.
Um, yeah, probably not the best idea. So I could do it, and I love destruction. It is probably, for artists that are creating things and then destroying them to make other things. It is the most fascinating aspect of being an artist, because a lot of people don't have that talent, and it's not it's like you wasted such a beautiful piece, or like I'm using air quotations, by the way, or like you are able to turn that piece of art into something drastically different than what it was before. So what I did, with all the pieces that I blew up of, that painting, I poured it into epoxy.
Mhm.
I poured it, and made so, like, I would glue the pieces down. I have it right here if you want me to, like, show it, but,
Oh yeah, feel free.
okay, let me grab it. Let me finish like, explaining it, and then I'll go
Yeah,
grab it.
let's do that.
Um So I would pour, like, a thin layer of epoxy, glue down the pieces from being blown up. If you scan inscription 0 or unveiled, it shows that whole process. So that's like that AR integration that continues that story in perpetuity until I change what, and that's another thing, like, I can change it at any point that I want. So yeah, so, like, I would arrange the pieces, sketch out something, draw, paint, put rocks. Uh, the final piece has, like, has multiple bullets from, or really shell casings from, you know, shooting the initial piece, but also it has a deer vertebrae. It has, like, artifacts, like Native American artifacts. So I am part Cherokee, very, very small. Like, I don't think I'm even able to, like, I'm very, very proud of that part of my lineage, but I would never say, like, "Oh, I'm Cherokee." Like, that's not something that I'm trying to even remotely do, but I'm very, very proud of, that being part of my DNA. I did the, like, um, what's it called? Like, 23andMe, the ancestry, like, 23andMe, and I was elated. I knew a little bit, but just to, like, find out it's actually true, because things, get passed down that not necessarily are true. So, anyway, that confirmation was really cool. And, I live in an area that it's in the middle of nowhere in the mountains of North Carolina, and, uh, different parts of the farm, or, like, we've kept property in our family for, I mean, generations upon generations, and, like, finding these little pieces, I wanted to take away, because a lot of people collect arrowheads, and they it's very, very fun to, like, look at the last person to actually physically touch this was, someone from thousands, if not, like, a multitude of years ago. And so I wanted to put it in epoxy to where no one could ever touch it ever again. Um, when land, and I think that that's probably the biggest, as just like human civilization, the downfall that we created towards the Native Americans that lived off of that land, and taking that, colonizing that. I didn't want those pieces to be able to touch anybody else's hands. Even though I have a very, very small amount, at least it was found by someone that came from that um, from that period of time. Um, little little blood relative, but so from that point, it's like I made this almost time capsule of a pivot in my journey, and also something like, if I was going to make something, I wanted it to, without reference image, which was absolutely, like, probably the hardest thing that I've had to do, because that what I grew up painting. I always had a reference image. I always had something, and to, like, completely take that off the table was whew, a lot. And I think if you're an artist and you're not pushing yourself to just be uncomfortable, right? So be take yourself out of what is, like, not only like your brand. So you, like, see artists that are very easy to recognize, as same color palette, same theme, same everything. And I hate that. I hate that so much. They have to be so bored unless they really like those colors, which if you're an artist, and I know you're not, maybe you're saving money, but other than that, it's like it has to be boring. Um, and just, like, creating something. Let me grab it so you can see, like, what. So you saw Inscription 0, and then this is the what Inscription 0 turned into. So hold on.
Let's see it. All right, there it is. Tell us about it. It looks heavy.
It is very, very, so epoxy is very heavy. I'm going the wrong way.
Yeah, I can see. We've got it.
There we go. So that's what, and you can kind of see. Oh, I need to set it down. I think it weighs close to probably like 25 pounds now.
Yep. So that's like a small child.
Yeah.
Got it.
So, like, you can see kind of the outline of where the Veiled Virgin was. But other than that, it's like, sorry. So you can see the outline of, like, where the Veiled Virgin was, like, around it. But other than that, it's not even close to like resembling it. Here's the vertebrae, arrowhead. There's another arrowhead right here. It's completely different from what I started with, and it was an expression of a lot of feelings. It's like whenever you get that chance to just, like, pour yourself into something literally because you have to pour so much epoxy. And each layer is so cool because like you can paint over top of it. And because epoxy is clear, like you can see that underneath. And so that was just like a really sick, like just process.
Yeah, and it sounds like there's a lot of what you love poured into it. Pardon the pun, like you said, you pour the epoxy, but that's a layer to it, really, isn't it? Where
It
you've
really
got,
is.
you know, something that is quite ephemeral and can be shattered, or like you said, shot into pieces. You've brought in your culture, which is, you know, even setting something in epoxy, it's to an extent, it's preserving it somewhat. And then you're doing that on chain and bringing in that more transient, able to evolve, able to change AR experience with something that is permanent. So that this mix of impermanence and permanence in what you do.
Oh my gosh, it's my most favorite thing currently. Uh, I I never like I know that my street art it is not permanent. Like anybody that does street art knows that. Really funny story. So in Miami, I had only I had like probably 8 days and I needed to complete that piece in 8 days. I wanted to do graffiti behind it and then do kind of a wash over it to where it would peek through, but not necessarily. Um, and so I go like I'm getting really close to like I'm running out of time, right? So I go and, face plant at my Airbnb, wake up the next day, and someone had came and bombed the entire thing with more graffiti. And where I think that I found out later who it was because it was simultaneously with Art Basel. Um, but they helped me in so many different ways. I think at that point, it's like, yeah, if it looks like that after you're finished, sure. And then they came and bombed it, and they now it exists forever on the blockchain. And just that in that one instance, like we all see trolls online but in real life, if you're a street artist, that happens like daily. And so it's just like really fun to experiment with that impermanence. And if you can like if I can complete a piece before, like whatever happens to it, then I have that forever on Bitcoin. And it's just sick. I don't know. I love it.
And speaking of, let's have a look at, some of the rest of the collection. We can talk about how people can pick one up as well. But yeah, you've got 70 items, obviously, including the parent, so 69 available to collect. And yeah, all of them, obviously, there's a cohesion across them, but they're all unique into themselves. And yeah, like we said, with the AR experience where you can see there's the QR code as part of the art, that can change, that can evolve as you desire, but the base, what's on chain, what you own is always there.
I know. I love that so much. Justin owns a company that does all of my activations, and we've talked about, oh my gosh, I actually have a call with him after this to talk about some really fun things, but like just claiming being able like as an artist, you can like put your art out there, but in Web3, I hate using that term, but in Web3, people will collect just for the art, but there is also this other aspect of being able to provide a plethora of different things, whether it's like meme coins, more art. Once you have their wallet address, you can do essentially anything that you want. You can send them things. Uh, with Hurricane Helene that just like absolutely wrecked North Carolina, I
Mm.
got a lot of donations, and I was able to inscribe thank you notes and then send those to the wallets that had given me donations. And the same thing applies here. You not only have a wallet to like send things to, but with AR, you have layers. You can have a story, you can have a video, you can have with our current limitations to what we can inscribe on Bitcoin, that expands it like tenfold. And I'm honestly like, it's not that I'm sad that other people aren't using AR, because like, I mean, I kind of want to be the only one, but um, it's like you have such a beautiful tool to do that, and the possibilities are actually endless. To not only in IRL, it's like you whoever buys your painting, you might not ever hear from them ever again. They bought it once and they that piece is done, but like with AR, you're able to um, create something that's like that they wouldn't have otherwise. Um, and even if they wanted to just like make a print of your on-chain art, with this collection, the QR code is on the art. So I can change those layers at any point, and that's cool, I think.
Yeah, and let's just quickly plug it. If anyone would like to pick one up, you can claim from the order claim, and you get a lovely addition to keep as well, on top of then being airdropped a piece by Whitters. So definitely check that out. Do you want to tell us a little bit about this piece? Because I can see parts of what's in the edition look like parts of what were in the
Yeah.
like the
So
epoxy
it
artwork
is.
behind you.
Yeah. So it is it's just like a photo of the piece that where it all started from
Yeah, I didn't realize
inscription
that. That's
0.
super cool.
Yeah. So there are I love like rewarding people that have supported me in whether it was like inscription 0, like just buying the prints on Gamma, or order where they're getting like through the order claim they're getting another piece.
Mm.
There are Easter eggs in all of that like I don't even talk about. Like if you're interested enough,
Mm.
um, to you got to be inside of my brain though, which is a dangerous place. But there's different things with every part of my art that if you care enough to like absolutely scan and like, I mean, maybe like small project, I don't know, and like get on like a different level that's like outside of your current like perspective or whatever. There, it's financially rewarding to do that. There is There I mean, there is, kind of like a little puzzle to seed phrases, that hold from for wallets that hold very high value assets, because that's like another I get bored easily, Brett, and, I trade a lot. I enjoy that, and, so if I think not that artists have to do that, like, they
Mm.
don't. Like, you can do whatever you want, but to encapsulate who I am as an artist and also include things, I think that I am smarter than, like, a lot of the degen traders And so I've incorporated that in the art. If you were to look at it for more than just like a glance
Mhm.
and kind of figure that out, I'm not going to reveal just like everything that's there, but my future work and different things like that, I'm just under the assumption that it's probably that sounds like super psychotic. I'm
Say it.
un- I'm under the assumption that you can't like you'll never be able to hack not only like my brain, but like figure out the Easter eggs that I have laid forth. Um and I I enjoy it's like a fun thing. I stopped like after the drop, I stopped looking for a while to see if like I'd been drained, that somebody had figured it out. But it's because like I don't code. Like that's not something that there's not even enough time. I don't have enough attention to put that into like learning how to code and like making something on Bitcoin representative of the chain that that it's on. That's just not me.
Mhm.
But I can draw some like and put in some things that not necessarily everybody would pick up on, but if you got to know me and got to know my art, it's like I'm almost forcing you to do that. When the attention span in this space is so small. And um and like no shade to like even this or different spaces or artists like talking about their art and different things. There's like majority of people that don't subscribe to that or that they don't want to learn about that,
Mm.
and or they just don't have the attention span to learn about another human. And so it kind of like made it like, I mean, it's a troll. It's like, are you really into the art? Have you actually looked at the art? Was it a speculative purchase that you thought that like you could gain from purchasing art on Bitcoin, or just um and it's like I don't I don't know. It's like my little like joke to that. Well, now everybody knows, but like
I
that
hope, yeah,
that
and they
at
should
the
listen to
time,
this.
yeah.
Yeah, and do you know what's interesting that you say all this, and it's why I pulled this up because you have this amazing website, and it is you and I have spoken about it before. Do people take the time to go and check out more of what is Whitters? Like you can see all of this different art, your murals, you're on these wine bottles, just like the different things that you've created. There's so much more than just like DJ Whitters who has fun on Twitter, which is very, like you and I have spoken about, very intentional. You do things in very clever ways, but really investigating who are you buying into. It's so much more than just buying the piece. There's always more to it.
For sure. And I think there's my call out to doing that was hiding, seed phrases in my art that I just think that I'm smarter, that like you'll never be able to like figure it out. But also like kind of bringing attention to, you should do that with every art piece that you purchase. And if artists knew their power and their ability to make people not only like just focus for a second, um, I mean, most projects just use artists, and that's across the board. And whether it's like within the community for like memes, or if it's like the actual artist for that collection, you're being used but you don't understand that that is happening. you see it as like different opportunities or recognition. But if you like hone in on that power and then just like recognize that you actually like can put that forth not only on like Bitcoin but anywhere. It If you look at any artist that like is remotely successful or a name that somebody can bring up, just like off because there's so many artists, right? So like being able to have recollection, like your name be recalled for whatever reason, is huge, and you can do that through your art. Whether or not at that moment people realize that, which is usually what happens with artists, but it's a very powerful thing that I honestly don't think that people realize.
I completely agree. And I feel like we've only scratched the surface when it comes to you, Whitters, but it's been an absolute pleasure to have had this chat. Like I said, there's so many more layers to it. You revealed just these bits, these Easter eggs that if people want to learn more about you, they should follow you, go to your website, have a look at your collections properly, spend more than just half a second scrolling the timeline to take notice of what you write and how you, I want to say, I feel guilty using this phrase, but market yourself, express yourself, because it's very clever. I'm a big fan of your work. I own one of the, of the prints. And thank you so much for spending this time with us.
Oh, thank you so much. I love what Gamma is doing with partner artists and creating somewhere for us to tell a story for the people that want to listen. So thank you.
Thanks again.